to the ArtsyFartzy Club. My name is Mrs. Johnson, and it's always an adventure to stream with you. I am so happy you are here with me today. Thanks for coming. We are going to work on an art project inspired by ScholtenArt on Instagram. He is an art teacher, and he does a lot of little shares his ideas with you on the internet. And I needed something else to fill in my Thanksgiving camp. So I thought I would take his idea and run with it and see what I could do to make it my own. And so we're going to just merge our ideas and go from there. All right. So things that you will need today. I didn't have a materials list today, and that is my bad. I did not do that. All right. But what you do need is let's clickety click click. A 9x12 and some construction crayons or metallics, or I've got these color sticks. I don't even know if Crayola still makes these. These are kind of groovy. I'm going to look it up because now I'm kind of curious, but they are by Crayola. They're paperless color sticks. They kind of worked like construction crayons, and they're great for like doing texture rubbings and stuff like that because you don't even have to peel them. Gotta love that. Watercolor set, and I happen to have one of these full sets, so I'm going to be using the metallics watercolors and a paint plate. I am personally going to use yellow, red, and purple and white. The white just happens to be an acrylic paint because that's what I have in the studio. But tempera work well as well. And these are temperas. And there's a lot of materials for this one. You need a 9x12 of green. This is a 9x5 about. A optional is another shade of green. I happen to have this is scrapbook paper, but any different shade other than the green you already have, and a 9x12 of white, and paintbrush, like a nice, where is my paintbrush? A nice flat end to make kind of like rectangle shapes with. And of course, I'm using foam shapes and some cookie cutters to make shapes. These foam shapes could be like stampers, but we're going to talk about a possibility of using shape, glue, and scissors, and optional glitter. I did not know that was open. Glitter. And last but not least, brown. Now this could be, this happens to be like a brown wood looking scrap paper. It could be brown construction paper. It could be scraps from another project you did, but these are 1 inch across by 3, but I don't think you probably even need that much. You could probably get away with like 1.5 inches or maybe 2 inches. But anyway, I just had them this size and cut them up, but about only 1 inch across is good. All right, so Mr. Glitter, you got me. You got me. Let's see if I can put the glitter off on the side. All right, so where do we start? Well, we always start with having our kids put their names on their materials because I'm planning on doing this in the studio, and it never ceases to amaze me how I can have a group of 4. Let's say I only have 4 in the class, and they still mix up their papers and don't know who they belong to. I forget, when I was in the classroom, of course I would have them write their names on their stuff. They're not going to remember from one class to the next what was their art. But the children, where there's only 4 choices, and they just did it 10 minutes ago, you would think that they would know it's their art, but they don't. They don't, and that drives me crazy. Okay, make sure you write your name on the back of your art. Now, we've got options with this. Now, Scholten, which I'm assuming is his last name, Mr. Scholten, did shapes with his kids. And so he had them do shapes. And I still think that that's a possibility. I believe he did this as a kindergarten lesson. Also, a nice option would be doing lines. So you can go do review lines all the way across, or do shapes. But what I think, if I did shapes, I might bump it up a notch so you can have it more than just a kindy lesson. We can make this into like a whole lower L lesson. So you could do different parts of, or different lessons for this part of the project, depending on the age group, and do different variations. So kindergarten's doing this, first grade's doing this, second grade is doing that. So, you know, maybe I would do shape, because kids don't get a lot of opportunities to practice shape drawing, just practicing. And that's a really important fine motor skill that a lot of kindergartners coming in don't have. They, especially when I used to work in a low economic school, and these children, bless their hearts, didn't know their shapes, let alone, you know, they didn't know the names of lines. And, well, I mean, a lot of kids don't know the names of lines, but like, they didn't know their colors. How about that? They didn't know what was red and what was pink and what was white. It just would amaze me, these poor kids that didn't know stuff. So it's our job to make sure that they get, let me move you guys. I'm sorry. There, a little more century. It's our job to make sure that they're getting that information and that they have an equal opportunity of an amazing future, right? So I might go bump it up a notch. So, like, you know, if we're going to do kindy and we say we want to do shapes, fine. So we teach them how to draw a triangle, and you have them draw triangle, 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 triangle. But I might go, okay, I'm going to bump it up a notch for my first graders or my second graders, and I want them to do an ABAB pattern. So I'm going to say, okay, you're going to do triangle, circle, triangle, circle, triangle, circle. And then after you teach them ABAB, then you go, okay, guys, let's blow your mind. We're going to do an ABC pattern. So I'm going to make it rectangle, rectangle, circle, square. And then also my colors are making a pattern too. You don't have to do that. They could all do it all in one color and just have the shapes changing. So you can tell them that pattern doesn't have to mean that the color changes. It could mean just the shape changes, or maybe they do it with some lines. So we're going to go, okay. So I like that, my idea of doing it, you know, lines for the lower L. Maybe kindy, or done lines with kindy. So you want to review this with your first graders. They haven't done any lines yet this year because you're like, oh, that's pretty basic. But boy, these guys always could use a good review. So maybe I say, okay, we're going to do a pattern with lines. So I'm going to do wavy line. And then I want to do a loop-de-loop. Now here's my qualm with his idea. It was awesome that he was having the kids work on their fine motor skills. And I guess then it doesn't really matter how well kindergartners are doing this. I mean, they're developing, right? We're developing the skill of making our shapes. But then he proceeds to cover over it with stamps. So I don't, you know, how many lessons, how many days is this lesson? And I could foresee this being almost an entire day with kindergartners doing this lesson. So just this part of the lesson, I should say. So we'll see. But this is another way you can work on pattern. So they're doing repeating lines, wavy line, loop-de-loop, wavy line, loop-de-loop, okay? Or, like I said, he just had them doing the shapes, and you can just have them go, okay, guys, we're going to work on triangle and square, triangle, square. All right, I just want you guys to keep practicing that across your paper. What makes, talk about it. What makes a triangle a triangle? What makes a square a square? If you are one of my student followers, okay, what makes a triangle a triangle? They have 3 sides with 3 pointed angles that are less than 90 degrees. They're cute. But our square has 4 equal sides. Is that equal? No, that's really more of a rectangle. Meh. But, and they have 90-degree, perfectly perpendicular lines, making a 90-degree angle here. Okay, we're getting in our math. This is where cross-curricular comes in and becomes really important. The arts brings access to all the other subject areas and can make it fun in a unique way for our kinesthetic and visual learners. They're participating in the material in a different way that they might not necessarily get in the gen ed classroom. So, okay, so let's say we fill in our whole paper. Now, you don't have to fill in your whole paper. That's another thing I think is kind of this problem with this project, is that it's awesome. I love layering projects, but I don't want to waste time doing something that's not going to show. Because especially those of you guys that have like a 25-minute class, that hurts. Like if you do something and you've taken up your 25 minutes and it doesn't show up on the project, so stop. Like, okay, guys, we're going to do about 1, 2, 2, 3/4 of the paper. And so, okay, if this is the halfway, we're going to do one more little section below halfway. I don't know how you want to explain that to your guys. A little bit past halfway, especially the little guys, they won't understand. But we're going to work past that. We're going to go on to the next step. Now, shapes. We're going to work with our shapes, continue to work with shapes. This was his shape project. So I happen to have these sponges in the studio, and I thought, oh, okay, these would be great for this project. I especially want to see my stars, so I'm going to start them at the top. Okay. Fuzzy. And I'm going to just put it on there. Now, because this is a sponge, not a stamper, it's a little bit harder to work with. So I've put it on, press, lift, put it on, press, lift. Okay, so now we're overlapping. We're going to talk to the kids about overlapping. We're overlapping our stamps. The important thing about stamps is pressing down and lifting straight up. Do not let it smear across. I want to be careful how I put it down. Kind of like similar to stippling. We've talked about stippling with them. Probably not with kindergarten though. Okay, triangle. And I could even change the angle of my triangle. I could do some groovy stuff. This just made me think of mud cloth. This would be fun for a mud cloth project. Doing the triangles in the different directions. Okay. Anyway. And some cardboard stamps for the lines. Some Kenyan mud cloth. That's where my mind just went. Okay, here we go. Keep going, guys. And one more to fit in there. Okay, so we see a little bit of the shapes coming through. I don't want to stamp it too densely because then everything disappears. And then all my work was for naught. All right, let me check our Instagram, see if we have any friends. Okay, here we go. Boom, 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 boom. And we're stamping. So I bet you a lot of our friends are on a holiday trip right now, on your way to see family or on a vacation. Boy, our holiday officially started Friday. The kids are off from school for the entire next week. Oh, do I fit it in? It's going off the edge of the paper, but we're okay with that. Okay. And then last but not least, I definitely want to fit in my square, but I might turn my square and make it into a diamond, make it a little more interesting to look at. Bam. Bam. Now, I'm going to level up Mr. Scholten's project. I had an idea, and you either love it or you hate it, but we're going to add in a special material on this step, and that is that fabuloso glitteroso. Okay, get that glitter on that wet paint. Just takes it up a notch, and then your kids go, glitter! Best day ever! Because their teachers don't want to have to do glitter in the gen ed classroom. And a lot of you guys don't like doing glitter in your classrooms either. You either love it or you hate it. I am pro glitter, but I don't do it for very many projects. I would keep it under wraps. Okay. And I would do it over the trash can. I'd make them come to me and we would glitter their project together. But anyway, there you go. It's glitterized. We've gone over line or shape. We've gone over stamping, right? Did a lot of stuff. I would assume that this would be one shorter class period. That would be the entire class period, and you're done. Okay, another day. We're going to work on our shape paper. So once again, I have a 9x12 green paper. And I just took cookie cutters. Now, sometimes the cookie cutters, because they're metal, are not nice and like level all the way around. This paint, it like, I hope you can see that. It like forms a film across the stamp or the cookie cutter sometimes. And it's like I could blow a bubble. It is what it is. I believe it's Crayola brand. I like their paint because it doesn't get moldy that I've ever experienced. And I have it out in the studio and I haven't had it get moldy yet. So, and it's Florida. Other brands, the rumor is it gets moldy. I wouldn't want to have moldy paint. That would gross me out. Okay. Now, sometimes when you stamp, the paint might splatter a little bit if you got it nice and juicy on the stamper. And that's okay. This project is this paper is going to be cut up. And it's not going to matter if it's got splatters. It's going to just make it all the more visually interesting. There isn't a real rhyme or reason. I think that he might have used stampers that were just shapes. So, you know, star is a shape. I mean, this is a shape too. It's just an organic shape, not a geometric shape. So, I mean, you could say that. You could talk about the difference between organic shapes and geometric shapes. So our stocking is an organic shape. Our candy cane is an organic shape. Okay. So we would just keep doing this. Go, 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 go. You can use water bottle, milk caps for, sneaky, not enough paint on there. My paint's getting too spread out. And I can make my shapes go upside down. It's not going to matter which direction they're in. Have them go in all directions because you don't know which area of paper you're going to be using for what. So spread the love. Okay, that being said, bam, circle. I can move my circle side to side to spread that paint on there better. Boom. All right. And it's okay to let your shapes go off the edge of your paper. Get your table dirty. If you're lucky, you have paper under their papers. Or, you know, we'd always have a table washer. Everybody had a job. Had table numbers, like their spot was a number. Okay, person number 1 is going to wash the table. All right. And last but not least, I had this guy. Got some little hearts on here. I'm realizing I want to do it fully. I thought about cutting it short so that I could save you guys time, but I'm going to want this paper as my example paper for camp. So I'm going all the way now. Bam. The next step, well, in a couple of steps, you're going to have to cut this paper. And I hadn't really decided how I was going to explain it to them, how to cut their paper. So we will explore that together. I'm trying to think what is the best way to teach it. All right, y'all, there we go. So that's an experience, and I probably would have them do this and the next one all in one day if you can. Although that's a lot of work for a little guy. It's a lot of work for a little guy. So depending on your time, how much time you have. All right. Then we're going to do the watercolor paper part. Because it's going to get into, where's my paper towel? It's going to get into my paint I just got on the table. So let's wipe that off. So I'm curious, are you looking forward to most for the holiday break? Oh, I like food. And I, in fact, have been working out extra just so I can eat whatever I want for the holidays. So appetizers and cookies and things, I'm all about it. Pie, whatever, bring it my way. So what are you looking forward to most about this holiday? Of course, family and friends. But what food are you looking forward to the most? I really want me some pie. And then my mother-in-law makes these spinach ball things. Looking forward to those. Okay, so we are going to fill in this whole paper because we are going to cut it up. And Part of it's going to be for the ground and part of it's going to go on our trees, and I'll explain that later. So do fill in your whole paper just in case. So I'm going to use this kind of lavender pinky color. And I like the metallics. I think it's going to add a little pizzazz to a winter snow scene. And we're just practicing trying to do straight lines. Now, he called them rectangles. And you can tell your kids they're rectangles because they are. The bigger your brush, the bigger the rectangle. Have them go in different directions. But do get to all over your paper, all over, up to the edge. Now I know that this lilac, I don't know, maybe it's supposed to be pink. I really don't know. Looks lilac to me. Is very light, but we're going to come in with a couple other colors and create some diversity. And you know me, added details and variety adds interest. So I'm all about adding extra things to make my work more visually interesting. Okay, I'm coming in with the next one, which is a light blue, metallic, of course, still. I wish you could see it. I know you can't. You just can't see the glittery quality of this paint. Kids love it. It's just that little extra something. Something that makes it ooh. Just the same as people like glittery jewelry. Little magpies. The kids like glittery paint. Like what? What? All right. Something buzzed. We're all still good. You know, I forget to turn off my announcements on my phone, and I've had it where it messed up my video for the entire stream. Like it just stopped projecting the video. That was tragic. I had to have a part 2, restart the whole stream. It was awful. And I'm sure there's probably a better way to do that instead of having to restart the whole stream, but I didn't know what the answer was when you're in like panic mode. It was awful. Anyway. All right, what we're going to do, I think this is supposed to be a purple. Glittery purple. Now we got some variety going on here. And it's on now. A little crazy. Mrs. Johnson, that doesn't look like a rectangle. All right. Oops. Got some naked paper. Don't let your project feel naked. It makes it feel uncomfortable. Does not like that. All paper wants to be treated equally. All right. Now, okay, don't get too crazy. It's still supposed to be kind of snow, I guess. Boop. Ta-da! Fun. Oh, I tripped on my project down there. Boo. All right, so I put that away. Okay, so those two papers are going to dry. And then we come back another day. Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. Now, so I've got my other paper. This one, now I didn't remember to draw my lines or shapes underneath. So I'm wondering if I forgot. I mean, you're going to have a student that's not there that day. And they missed out on something. Let's pretend. Let's pretend I did all my lines and stuff. And they're in there somewhere. Are you dry? Yes. All right. Got any other colors I can stick in there? We're going to pretend that we're drawing triangles. All right, guys. There we go. Beep, beep. Whoa, that's not a triangle. All right, and yeah, circles around our circles, around our circles. Circle. Kid did this, really? Okay. So pretend that that was all done the same. Here we go. We've got our three papers, and we're going to put our project all together today, guys. Here we go. So we're going to start with this. Now, my wondering is how I was going to teach them to cut this up into triangles. So the first thing I think I might do is to have them cut it in half. And now with older kids, you definitely could have them measure it out. And so it would be at the 6-inch mark, Shazam, okay, from the 0 to 6. And we trace down the line. If it's kindy, I might just, okay, put that down about in the middle and draw a line. That's probably what I would have them do. Now, he did it where he had some big triangles and some little triangles. And I'm really not sure how he would go about that. Because I'm wondering if part of it wasn't and I can always trim them smaller, but if he didn't do it right in half, now that I'm thinking about it, I'm going to guess not. So we've got 1, 2, 3 and halves. All right, I'm going to do a little my mind is going. I have lots of wonderings going on here. And I'm sure he sells the lesson. So if you want to know how a professional does it, you are welcome to go look up what he said he does. I think this is going to actually work. So we're going to yeah, folks. I'm going to go in from the edge. What about that? What about that? And then I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 5. I only had 3 on this side. Let's see what happens. I still think we can trim and make this work. Shazam. He might catch this video and shake his head. I don't know. But it's kindergarten, so it's not like you're going to tell him to measure it out. So I'm curious now how he did it. I probably should have reviewed his video. I just saw the idea and then ran with it. So guys, this is me just running with the idea. I probably should have studied what he did, but I don't want to copy exactly what he did. I just want to make it my own and figure out what works best for me in my room. And I hope you guys do that for your projects. If you ever catch one of my videos, make it your own. It's okay. I'm not offended. Use this as a jumping off point and go from there. Okay. Oh, and of course, my friends, I always tell them to cut with their thumb in the little hole, their fingers in the big hole, and their thumb pointed up at the ceiling, which I did not review. But this is a big, big project. I don't know if you're my little friends. I apologize, because this is more for art teachers today than it is for students, but you are welcome to pause, rewind, reuse, recycle. Okay, so we got a couple big ones. We've got some skinny ones, little ones. We have some medium ones. That's a bigger. Boom, boom, boom. And I think he even did like 3 layers, but I don't even know if I'm going to have room for 3 layers. I'm pretty sure he had stuff running off of his paper because there's not enough room for 3 trees on this sucker, but 3 would look better, wouldn't it? Let's see. What do I see? You can overlap them too. I can overlap them too. Okay, let's do that. So I've got 1, 2. I don't like that. He's too big. He's too big. Why did you get so big? Why are you so big? I'm going to trim some of that off. He's too big. Boom. I don't like that either now. Why did I trim that? I don't like that. All right. I might cut some of this out. If I don't, I'm going to eat my words. There we go. Really is better to have fat, short ones. So I wonder, that's interesting. I'm going to trim it. I'm trimming it. I think he did 3 layers. I can't remember, to be honest. Boop, boop, doop. 1, 2. I don't like that one. I really don't like that one. Yeah, I needed them to be fatter. So maybe having the extra was too much. Okay, what do we think about that? Doing 3, having one of them a 3-tier. I don't like it. No, I don't like it. I don't like it at all. All right. Going into mad scientist mode here with my art teacher. And here we go. Better? No. Maybe? No. Still too fat, I think. Do one fat, 3, 2 skinnies with the 3 tiers and 1 2-tier. I think we can make it work. I like it. Okay, we're going to go with this. This is my idea. Here we go. All right, so glue, glue, glue. I usually like to glue on my object, because where I'm gluing it to is actually smaller than the object itself, I'm going to glue onto the where it is going versus what's going on, because it is smaller. So if I glue here, I could glue my stuff onto my table, and that would be bad. That's too high. Bring it down, bring it down, bring it down. There we go. Okay, now he did this thing where he like layered it. And they did bubble cutting. So creating an outline. I think that could be more visually interesting. So I'm going to go for it too. I like that idea. Bravo, Mr. Scholten. Bravo. Now, will it work on this paper? I don't know. We're about to find out. Now keep in mind, I'm doing this at the studio, and my kids will have lots of time. I have the luxury of having a little bit more materials than I would in a gen ed classroom, but you could use just a lighter shade of construction paper. It's fine. I understand most of you will not have fancy cardstock construction paper or scrapbooking paper, but some of you all might have donations at this time because people aren't scrapbooking like they used to. So ask your community. Go on the community garage sale page and say, hey, does anybody have old scrapbook paper that they would like to donate to the local public school art program? I bet you will find a taker, because they want to get rid of their stuff, but it's worth money. So they don't want to get rid of their stuff. They spent the money on it. They feel guilty about it. So give them a happy home for that stuff. It's going to be valued by this art teacher and her students, or his students. So they'll be a little more willing to let it go. All right, I'm going to let this dry a little bit before I cut it out. And I'm going to go ahead and work on the next steps, and I'll come back because I think it'll be easier to bubble cut it if it's nice and on there. I don't have to worry about it falling off. Obviously, I'm foreseeing a problem with the littles having the edges lifting off. So I'm wondering what student work actually looks like. Because when he shows his example, it's his example one. that he did. So you have to teach them to go in and glue stuff down. All right, so go dry, be merry. We'll call you back in a minute. Now I've got my background paper. I've got my snow paper. Did you guys forget about this 9 by 5-ish? Okay, we're gonna layer the ground. So I've got my 9 by 5-ish, slightly crooked paper. Where'd I get this scrap? Okay, it was from the scrap pile. And it's not exactly 9, and it's not exactly straight. What is happening here? Okay, well, that's straight. It doesn't matter because I am going to cut it anyway. So I want it to curve up. So my thumb is in the little hole. My fingers are in the big hole. And I'm just going to make a big wave. I'm not cutting off too much because I want this part to be raised up on my background. I'm going to go ahead and glue all around the edges. You can use any glue you want to do, guys. If you are an Elmer's fan, go for it. Dot, dot, dot. Just a little, not a lot. I like to use the stick glue in the studio because I'm trying to work fast for you. And I want you to see the end results. All right. So we've got, try to line it up with the edge, even though it's not straight. It does not go edge to edge. All right, so then I'm going to cut another piece that is now going to go the opposite way. Oh, it's glitter. Glued itself on there. Okay. So I want it to be slightly lower than this one, or I can even have it go up higher and then go down, but I'm going to have it go here. And I want it to curve the other way. So I'm just going to measure by putting it on top. I see where my blue ends, and I'm just going to grab my paper here below that. Thumb in the little hole. My fingers are in the big hole. And as long as I start there where I had my thumb, I know I'm shorter than the blue area. Boom. Okay, let's check out. How did I do? Here we go. Might have even wanted to make it bigger. Now that I think about it, I don't know, because that's more visually interesting than the blue one. But I definitely wanted the blue to show. So we got overlapping. The more overlapping, the more detail we have. Adding different colors, adding different textures. The more visually interesting your art is, guys. All right. So now, set aside this. Don't throw it away. You're going to need this paper later. Let's see. Calling back our trees. Hello, trees. How are you? I missed you. Thumb in the little hole, fingers in the big hole, thumb pointed up at the ceiling. And I am going to cut a bubble shape. So when I get to where it juts out, I'm going to jut out my bubble. So I'm just doing an approximate, no, it's less than 1/4 of an inch. You know, the genius of this is that I'm definitely going to have a nice edge. And if I overlap my trees, they're going to have this. I'm going to round out this bubble. Round it out. Round it out. They're going to have, if I overlap, that outline is going to help them look distinct. And I'm going to round out this bubbly part too at the end here. Shazam. All right, how am I doing, guys? Is this making sense? Is it looking? I wish if I was forth thinking, I probably should have had his example. Okay, bubble. We're bubbling. We're bubbling. Boom. I know that my little friends at the ArtsyFartzy Club are going to love this lesson. Oh my goodness. If you guys hadn't seen the flying penguin project I did a couple of weeks ago, check it out. I did that we had a mini camp last Saturday, which is why I was not live. I intended to go live during the camp, but I got so engrossed with my friends at the camp that I forgot to go live. Even like I had a description ready and everything. I was 100% like ready to go. And then I like started teaching art. And I'm sorry, guys. I love teaching art. It's what I do. It's what I wanted to do with my life. And I was having a blast with my kids. So we had a new couple of students. So I just was in the zone doing my teacher thing. There we go. Boom. All right. And last but not least, I'm going to cut off those scrappy wappies so they're not in my way. Boom. Okay. And I think the real thing for this bubble cutting is going to be teaching the kids to stop in the midst of an alligator chomp, to turn that paper, cut a little bit the other way. They're going to get some mondo fine motor cutting skills. They're going to gain some boku cutting skills with this project. It's a lot of cutting. It's kind of cutting labor intensive. I want to know what his student examples look like. Curious. And I'm kind of curious how many days he ended up doing this project, because like I'm foreseeing, that was day 1. And then the other stuff was day 2, depending on how long. Maybe he has long classes. This is day 3. And I know that my Title I kids, they probably would not finish this in a day. So, I mean, it just depends, I guess, on how long-winded I was for the day, maybe. Okay. I don't know. Could they get it done in a day or not? I don't know. So I'm guessing this is like a 3-day project. Maybe 4, depending on your kids. Okay, so we got that. Shazam, like that. Now he had his just going off the page. I can't do it. I can't do it, guys, because what if the parent wants to frame this art or put it in a scrapbook or whatever? I can't have it going off the page. I can't do it. So we're going to glue it like this. We're going to glue those little tree trunkies on there. The tree trunks don't really need to be this big. I'll probably cut that in half. So they're 1 by 1.5, let's say. I love that they look like wood. I gotta say, once again, this is scrap paper. I did get a really big donation of scrap paper from a very good friend of mine. Her mom passed away, and she had lots of scrapbooking stuff. And she knew someday I would put it to good use. Well, I have 4 children of my own. So she goes, do something with the kids, whatever. Now, here is the whatever day. The whatever day has come. And we are arting our socks off here. Okay. Now, we are going to glue this on. This I would almost want to have an Elmer's because it's a heavier paper. Sometimes they don't glue down nice. Or even sticker tabs. I know that's expensive. You're not doing that in your public school program. But in a studio environment, sticker tabs might make the world go round. All right. Shazam. Oh, man. I might want that to go a little bit higher. Can I move you? Are you stuck too much? No. We're going to make it move. I said. Oh. What do you think, guys? Do you see where I'm going with this? Because if I do this one, I'm going to have the big one closer to me. And then it's going to be like perspective ever so slightly that the bigger tree is closer to me. You with me? Are you with me? What do you think? Does that work? I think that kind of works. What do you think, guys? That's kind of cool. Now, last but not least, what did I do with you? What did I do with you? There you are, my paper. He did little snow doobies. Maybe I should. Oh, Shug-a-duggy. We're going to take that off. He did little snow doobies on each tree. And I'm going to do that. So, what do I mean? Well, he did it like a little cloud shape. And he goes, oh, I should have had them do ovals because he was doing his shape lesson. Meh, I could see that. But I think I might just have the kids cut in a wavy line. So we're going to go wavy line, wavy line. They don't have to be waved in the same way. They can go together. In fact, I think it'll look better if you guys don't do them waving in the same way. I think this will make it go faster. I've just got an idea here. We'll see if it works. Do a few of these. Okay. Some bonus sound effects for you. I've got a few strips. Now, I could just cut them like that. I could round it off. I think I'll probably round it off. Boom. Okay, and then I'll tell them to round the edges. You can see my thought process. This one doesn't have very much paint on it. Mildly unfortunate. But I guess I'm over it. I'm just going to put it on there anyway, guys. Tra-la-la-la-la, la-la-la-la. Okay, round it. Shazam. Shazam. All right. And we're cooking with gas. Here we go. Let's get a couple more on there. Do, 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 do. Oh, man. Oh, that's my glue. Okay. Actually, I like this project. I was like, it's a good idea. I don't know. Not sure how it'll go. I actually think that the kids will be pretty successful, especially if I do this with like first graders, second graders. They'll be able to make them look, pretty great, and they will be happy with their product. It's one of my biggest things about the ArtsyFartzy program is I want them learning true art terms, vocabulary, techniques, this standards of art education. But I want them to build a positive relationship with art, to feel that they are successful. So then when they go to their art programs at school, they have a sense of confidence that allows them to be a little more experimental with their projects and a little bit more willing to push the limits of what they can do. I have to say this is a little bit of a messy project. Lots of scrap paper here. Lots of scrap paper. So we're going to need some handy helpers cleaning up. I got to say the wavy line thing, though, that's a time saver and a bonus, I got to say. Okay, now putting that middle closer tree back on. We got to do 2 more rows of snow. Rounding those edges, round, round, round. Oh, and the kids are going to be like in the zone. Put on some music for them, or don't. I mean, sometimes I don't. Actually, last class I didn't have any music on, and we were just talking and having a good time, and they were just connecting with their friends and themselves. Sometimes it's just good to let them be a little more introspective. Do, 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 do. All right. Oh, it's done. And I think I might even, which I don't usually do, I actually really dislike doing snow splatter stuff. It kind of bothers me. But I think I'm going to do it for this project. Now, he likes to use a toothbrush, and that actually really is a good technique to do. Let me see what I got here. Oh, I got this one. Yeah, I can do this one. All right. I think my paint might not be watery enough to do it. All right. So I tell the kids they're petting a cat with one finger. So don't do this. If you let them hit their hand, it's not only going to put big globs on their paper, it will shoot back and get them in the face or on their clothes. And then we've got unhappy people. So, this brush might not be the most ideal brush. I thought it would be a good choice, but it's not. Boom, 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 boom. Toothbrush, where are you? I see your value now. Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. Come on, baby. I need a littler brush. Maybe this one. The bristles are stiffer too. Give me some of that paint. I want that paint back. There. Oh, yeah, those bristles are stiffer. Here, let's try this. Yes. There we go. Need that stiff bristle. Thought that one would have been good, but I was wrong. Do, 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 do. Not enough paint. I mean, probably have enough snow already, but now that I have the good brush, I want to do it. Do it. Do it. There we go. Boop, 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 boop. All right. Are we feeling festive now? I am actually happy with the way it turned out. I think it's great. I think kids are going to love it. Mr. Scholten, bravo, bravo. Thank you, thank you, thank you for this filler lesson. He deserves an ArtsyFartzy Club clap. Can you see it? Can you see the whole project in its entirety? And I know that little symbol's right in the way. Let's see. Boop-a-doo, boop-a-doo. Boop. No. Oh, you see my trash. There. What do you think, guys? I think it turned out pretty good. Now, that being said, I just wanted to let you know also for the holidays, I am trying to share out my art kits. If you've never seen them before, I do personalized art kits. So on the ArtsyFartzyClub.com, you can you purchase a kit, you send me their name, like this one was for Sophia, and I put personally create their stencil for them. These are printed instructions, full color instructions, but it also comes with a QR code, and it is a live video demonstration by me on how to do the project. And I also have the canvas kit. So the instructions are on the paper and comes with paint, everything that you need, this easel, and the personalized kit. And they are, boom, ready to go. So I hope you enjoyed today's lesson. I had a really great time with you guys. And that, I think it turned out great. I'm really happy. I'm happy with it. I hope you're happy with it. This is going to be a great addition to the ArtsyFartzy Club Thanksgiving camp. If you ever want to come and visit me at the studio, we're right here in Tarpon Springs. We're right on the edge where East Lake meets Tarpon Springs meets Palm Harbor, Florida. And I would love for you to come and take an in-person class with me at the ArtsyFartzy Club. And we've got some more cool things in the works soon, which I can't wait to share with you guys. It's a teaser. I can't let you know what's going on yet until it happens. But, and do check out the ArtsyFartzy Club for those kits. I offer a subscription for kits. I would love for you to join. And let me know if you're interested in a monthly, in weekly classes online. That is another idea I've been playing with, and to do just a more focused, personal way that I can communicate online with you and give you some personal care while we're doing the art live together. Let me know. Anyway, so if you've never been here with me before, you are officially a member of the ArtsyFartzy Club. Yay! And if nobody's told you yet today, I love you. Thank you so much for staying all the way to the end. and you are one of my people. So make sure that you like and subscribe to the channel. I really appreciate that. I bring art lessons to children and teachers of children every week at 11 a.m. Eastern. Be sure to subscribe and ding that bell so that you get notified whenever I go live. Occasionally I go live on Wednesday, or I'll do a pre-recorded lesson for Wednesdays. But ever since the hurricanes, things have been kind of a little extra. So, but we definitely do at least the one episode a week. And until we see each other again, I hope that you are absolutely artastic.